Welcome to episode 2 of the TV Autopsy, slicing its way through the series you love. My name is James.
My name is Deborah.
Mine is Megan.
Hello, ladies. How are you today?
All good. Had my hair done.
I'm
You
very
look
jealous.
beautiful. Can I ask, is it snowing where you are at the moment?
Not at the moment, but it was this morning and yesterday.
Yeah, we just had a bit of snow over here in Routine Tooting.
No snow in Cornwall.
Wow. Okay. All right. So this is our difficult second album episode. So for all you keen listeners out there, you'll notice that I have called it episode 2 once again. So just to clear that up, we came out of a little podcast called The Movie Lighthouse, and suddenly we found that we were so big that we needed our own platform. So we have started again. So last week was our first official episode, and this is episode 2. So I do hope that clears everything up. Have I missed anything, girls?
So we're basically resetting any confused numbers from last episode because
Yes.
we're actually a spin-off, and we're going to be like Fraser or something, Frasier to Cheers, like, you know, the better spin-off.
Yeah, as long as it's
saying,
not
isn't it, basically?
Jodie Loves Chachi, because I don't think that one did very well. So
No, it's the ones where the spin-off, you know,
it's
better.
successful. Wonderful. Yes, that sounds good to me.
Not Joey.
Poor Joey. Now, talking of correcting numbers, Megan, you had an issue with your scoring last time. Is that right?
I did. I got too excited, and firstly, I couldn't add it up. And secondly, having now done a second set of scoring before in preparation, I think I was a little bit harsh, not massively, but I do need to just resubmit my final score for last episode.
Now, if you remember, we mark it out of 50, and then we double our personal score by 2 to get a percentage. So what was your...
Yes, it should be, all in, it should be 74.
74.
I
Well,
think
I don't think that's
72.
going to make a huge difference out of 2, but let's have a look. So it's 72.
Well,
We're
out of 1, yeah.
Plus 86 divided by 3. We like to get things right on the show, though. So that gives it a score of 77.3, which strangely puts it right at the top of our leaderboard.
At the top, I mean, that's just great. And it's
the
well
only one.
deserved.
All right. So also, just to let you know, on all our new features, you can find us now on iTunes just by searching for TV or Autopsy. You can also find us on YouTube. You can just search us there. Also, we're on Twitter and Instagram, and you can email us at tvautopsy@gmail.com. I think that's
So
everything,
James,
isn't it?
if we're on YouTube and you're recording this, are you just recording the audio, or
Yes,
or do I
don't
just
worry,
start
don't worry.
putting
We are
makeup
not
on?
putting our faces on YouTube, you'll be pleased to know. So
good.
it will go onto the feed just as our audio. Look out for that. So do not worry. But although Deborah does look beautiful with her new hairstyle. All right, so
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Cracking.
so let's move on to a bit of news. Has anyone got any news this week, this month?
News. I do have a little bit of news.
Oh,
A few
great.
bits and pieces. So, since we last spoke, Line of Duty season 6
Yes,
has landed.
it has.
Oh my god, I got so excited.
I'm in love with Kelly MacDonald.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Except I then also tuned into a fantastic podcast called Shrine of Duty. And they do the most excellent, blow your mind forensic analysis of every single episode.
Oh,
And they
Okay.
link everything back to everything that's happened on previous episodes. And I suddenly realised that I had forgotten what had happened. So I've stopped watching season 6 to go back and rewatch all season 5's, the previous 5 seasons, and I've discovered I never saw season 2.
What?
So I then got to watch
did that
season
happen?
2 for new.
Oh,
Well, it must have
wow.
come out before streaming and everything was really common. So I had just this absolute genius little gift of a new series, which was brilliant because it was the Lindsay Denton season.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
anyway, so season 6 is out, and I will be resuming that very shortly.
Okay,
once I finish
confession,
Oh.
I haven't watched any Line of Duty yet, but you two have been going on about it, so I think I better make that one
Yeah,
next.
it's definitely worth watching. It's a. What did you say? Someone somewhere said, oh, it's just the new Juliet Bravo for the Sunday evening.
I love
really is
Juliet
not.
Bravo!
But it's it's really good viewing. Obviously, some bits are a little bit.
You know what?
I wasn't.
I'm really disappointed when I watch a BBC drama. You know,
Yeah.
there was, what was that? The Bodyguard. I watched that the first series when that came out, and I was a bit reluctant, and I was just hooked from the start. I think on the whole they do make very good dramas, so I will be tuning
I
in.
think
Yes.
it's brilliant, and it's Jed.
Mercurio.
Yes.
Wood, Jed Wood.
Jed Mercurio. Jedward.
Who writes it, and he writes all of them, and it's so tight, and there's so many like everything's so interconnected, and it's just very excellent and really quite fast paced, and there's always really punchy first episodes, and you just
Again, I think this is where we have the advantage personally over the United States, because on shows like that in the US, they write with a writer's room. So it's they have about 8 or 9 writers all working on the show together, and they'll have a showrunner, but they've got all these writers. Whereas most of the time in this country, it's just one writer, so it's one vision, which I think works a lot better, really, if the writer's up to much.
Yeah, he definitely likes to write very complex, as you say, interconnected, very layered. Lots of language and terminology that might confuse you, so you have to really listen carefully. And then you've got these sort of big famous scenes where there's always the interview room that happens in each
fish tank.
All right, so that's
Very
how
good. It's
the
well worth watching it with subtitles. So sorry, that's it. So that's one bit of news which evolved into much discussion. Also, Handmaid's Tale season 4 is coming. It starts in the US this month. I haven't seen a UK release date yet.
No, I was looking today.
I hope it gets better again, because the last season just kind of, it felt like it was dragging out. What's going to happen with all these the actors, the characters rather, that are in Canada now? Is their story running dry?
Well,
I agree. So I sorry, Megan, I dropped out in season 2. And because of what you mentioned it last time to me, I think, or we've been talking about it. So I've just watched season 3 in anticipation, because I watched the trailer and I really liked the trailer for season 4. But I agree with Deborah. There was, for me, there was so many times you could leave Gilead and come back and all that kind of stuff. However, without giving anything away, at the end of season 3, what happened and the success that of Fred or June had, I was crying. It got me really emotional with what happened.
It was,
and that really
epic.
happens to me. Yeah. So I've got high hopes for season 4. So let's go with that.
And season 5 is also already in discussion. And what I was reading that they're because they've got the Margaret Atwood wrote the Testaments, which is set in the future. So they've got a loose roadmap as to what they have to, the framework that they can and have to work within. So
okay, that's good.
Quite interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, high hopes
and
for
my
that.
final bit of news. Final bit of news. The second half of season 5 of Lucifer is also landing on Netflix.
I've
Bit
not
of a
seen any
guilty
Lucifer.
pleasure.
Okay, well, I haven't watched
Bit
either.
of a dirty perv on Tom Ellis.
All right then. So let's move on to our feature, Post Mortem.
Gentlemen, we're about to enter the fascinating sphere of police work, the world of forensic medicine.
Okay, so for you eagle-eared viewers, we have combined these a couple of our features into one because we just thought we'd talk about a TV show we've been watching recently. So, Deborah, do you want to kick us off?
What would I recommend watching? Money Heist. Always would recommend that. It's a Spanish production. It's ridiculously silly, fantastic, binge-worthy ride. But it's got to be watched with the English subtitles, listening to it in Spanish.
Yeah.
Everyone the characters are so worthy of investing into. It goes from the ridiculous to the sublime, and it's just fantastic. And I binge watched, I think there's 4 seasons. Can't wait for the next season to come out. It's so good.
I think we should have a TV autopsy rule that we should always watch the TV series in their original language with subtitles, because it makes such a big difference, you know, as opposed to dubbing and stuff like that. All right,
the dubbing, yeah.
All right, how about you, Megan?
So my absolute rave review for this month is The Flight Attendant. It's on Sky.
I've seen the first episode so far.
So good. So it's really fast-paced thriller style. It's got a really brilliant quirk about it between Kaylee Cuoco, who's the lead, playing the flight attendant. So she's from The Big Bang Theory, originally in 10 Simple Rules for Dating My Daughter, and Charmed and all of that sort of stuff. Anyway, she's excellent, and she ends up I don't really want to give too much away, but it's really fast paced. It's got a great mechanism where she's having quite complex in her head conversations with a character who's already copped it. Just loads of really lovely complexity of her character, and it's teed itself up nicely for a season 2. So
it's black comedy, isn't it? It's quirky
Brilliant.
and quite funny, and going into the psychosis of her mind,
and probably is a really excellent example of when you get lots of writers together. To your point earlier, James, I typically I like when it's sort of like one person who's written everything and you can see the cohesion, but this is just full on manic but really cohesive and clever, and I just really enjoyed it.
And saying that, I mean, I don't think Friends could have reached the heights it did without a team of writers, because there was, you know, to make 26 episodes like, it's so high quality that, I mean, it's hard to find a Friends episode that isn't very good, really. You know, it's like,
Whereas if you've got one person writing, I mean, you have to wait with Line of Duty. You're waiting 2+ years between. We're on season 6, and I think the first one was like 2011, 2012.
Wow, okay.
So you know, you do have to wait.
So Flight Attendant, you can find that on Sky. Money Heist, that's on Netflix. Yes, Deborah?
Correct.
Okay, and my choice this month is I've been watching season 2 of Pennyworth, which is something I don't really go for because it's like a prequel series, and it's about Alfred Pennyworth, the butler from Batman, in the 1960s in like an alternative London, basically. It's adult, it's 18, and it sold me from the very first scene because it's got like one of the kind of villain characters in it. One of the main characters is played by Paloma Faith, and she's called Sykes, basically, and Beth Sykes. That's it. And the opening scene of season 1 has her, and she basically is a Coronation Street character. She is, you know, that Bette Lynch sort of character. She talks like that, and it is just so strange and brilliant and refreshing.
Good afternoon. You're on my land.
Yes, pet, I know.
Oh, do you? Well, clear off with you then.
And what if I don't?
Ah, another one of these bloody animal rights oiks, are we?
No, animals don't have rights. Steady, boy. Nobody has rights, really, do they? It's every bugger for himself, as far as I can see.
Are you mad? Do you know who I am?
I should hope so, Duck. If you're not Lord Longbrass, I'm in for a right bollocking, are you?
And yeah, I mean, for me, season 2's dipped a bit, but I really enjoyed season 1. And because it's so far before Batman, there isn't anything else about Batman in it except you meet Thomas and Martha Wayne are in it, and they're playing like CIA agents from America and stuff. But you've got Oliver Cromwell turning up, which is great, and you've got a guy called John Ripper, who's a descendant of Jack the Ripper, who's like runs London like a gangster. So lots of good stuff there, really. But yeah.
Wait, what's that on, James?
Then that's on Stars, which is an Amazon Prime add-on for like $1.99 a month or something, which I'm a big fan of, as you are, Meg.
Good old Star Plays.
So we are gonna move on to our main feature. So the series up for dissection this month is The One. Not that one. It is this one. So let's have a clip.
I have a secret that I want to share with you. A single strand of hair is all it takes to be matched with the one person that you are genetically guaranteed to fall in love with.
Right now, you're selling me a fairy tale.
This will change relationships and dating forever. They won't ever be the same again.
She's reckless. Sooner or later, one of her stunts is going to blow up.
Police came to see me. There's going to be an investigation. We're here to establish how a man died.
She committed suicide.
Do you believe her?
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Deborah, would you give us some facts about this program, please?
Yes. So this is a thriller drama. It was a novel based on John Marr's novel of 2017. A chap called Howard Overman, who was the creator of Misfits, War of the Worlds, the new one with Gabriel Byrne, Merlin. So he created it and wrote it, and there are 8 episodes.
Yeah, so it is based on the book by John Marrs. However, having read the book, which is part of the reason why I picked it, the premise of the lead character being the CEO of The One, which is this company that identifies your one true love through a DNA match, is basically where the similarity ends. They have completely rewritten the story. Very, excuse me, very different plot lines.
He gave the blessing, didn't he? I think. I
believe so, yes.
Yeah.
And we can come on to my views on that, but it is totally different. So from a synopsis perspective of the TV series rather than the book, I won't give away any spoilers on the book because you could read it and you might not see what's coming. So the main character, Rebecca, is a scientist who discovers that through DNA sequencing, you can be matched to your one true love. The one person in the world guaranteed to fall in love with you. The company she sets up rapidly becomes a huge global phenomenon, but the story picks up when Rebecca's old flatmate, who has been a missing person for about 18 months, is pulled out of the river. He is deceased and has been deceased for a while. And the series kind of then flips between 3 key time periods. It's sort of present day, or sort of like 5 minutes in the future. Then the origins of the company, The One. And then the third sort of like key time period is the timing of around the flatmate's disappearance and a load of things that were happening around then.
All right, thank you very much indeed.
Yes.
Right, okay, so Deborah, what did you think?
I don't know anybody who I would recommend it to that would say, oh, that's something that I would really enjoy. Now listen, the plot, the storyline is fine, but it's been done before. So there was nothing groundbreaking here. So Amazon's done a 6-part series called Soulmates. There was a Netflix show called Osmosis, and Black Mirror, the Hang the DJ episode. They've all done this. And The One was nothing more, nothing, exceptional, didn't break new ground or stories or anything. And it was just it was okay. Look, it got me watching, but it infuriated me in some places. Just with the science, and why is there only one? Why is there only one DNA match? And why is it that, how could there be somebody in a refugee Somalian or something that they've got their DNA for? Or they've matched her up to good old James is it James Whiting, her research scientist partner. In short, it was okay-ish. It was all right.
Glowing reviews from Deborah there.
All right, look, for me, I don't mind that the kind of concept's been done before. To be honest, I hadn't seen those other shows. That wasn't an issue. And I can look. I'm a Doctor Who fan. I could forgive bad science. If you give me a science concept, I'll go along with it if it helps with the narrative. But for me, I found it a real struggle, and there were lots of issues I found wrong with it. I found that the storylines were really disjointed. I thought some of the casting was wrong. I think there was a lot of problems technically, which we'll get onto in a bit, and it really infuriated me. Saying that, I got all that from like episodes 1 and 2, and I was thinking, how am I going to get through it? And I did get through it, and there was some really good performances, and the lead, who was she again? Sorry, Rebecca Hannaway. I mean, I thought she was great in lots of I did because I found I know what you mean, because you could look at her and go, well, she's like emotional as official, this kind of stuff, but I did find her very watchable, and that helped me carry through.
Yeah, she was very beautiful.
My thoughts. Well, it's interesting because it's so different from the book, and the book was a good holiday read. I mean, I wouldn't it won't be making any of my top list and raving to anybody, but I liked the concept. But the storyline is so different. That I found it really difficult to watch it to begin with, because it was so disconnected with what I was expecting. And I think I would probably agree I struggled with it as well a bit. I found Rebecca, I found her character really troubling, because she was so unpleasant and calculating and controlling, and she went considering, I'm all for entrepreneurs asking for forgiveness, not permission, and all of that kind of stuff, but she got very, very manipulative exceptionally quickly, and really polished in her manipulations so quickly, given the speed at the rise of the company, that I was kind of trying to find where all of her where those traits were coming from, and I was kind of probably looking a bit more for a nice character arc, like we had in the Terror, and it just wasn't there, and I had to conclude that she's just a raging sociopath.
Sorry, can I just ask a question about Rebecca? Because I quite liked, and they commented on this, the fact that she is a woman, and why should she apologise? I know she did terrible things, but she was a very strong woman.
Oh yeah, no, that was all good. The feminist angle was great, and the arguments that she would have, especially at the end when she says, "Oh, what," that was all fine.
Okay.
I just had an issue with her performance, not just with her character, but it's Hannah Ware, not Rebecca Ware. Hannah Ware's performance. Her cadence, her delivery, it just had too many pauses, and it just felt too flat and wooden. And where some people love, I don't know, John Malkovich, and I don't like the way that he delivers, and that's very Marmite for some people. But you've got, your Alan Rickmans or your Ian McKellens, who have an amazing kind of cadence that just draws you in. I don't know what she was trying to do, and I've not seen her in anything else. I'm not sure if it's just the way that she acts, or if this is just specific to this character. But I just had a real problem with. Whilst she's very watchable to look at, I found it very difficult to listen to her and believe what she was saying, because the pauses just seemed so jarring.
But I would also agree, Deborah, I found her performance, it fell flat in trying to play this highly controlled and controlling person. It came quite flat at times. I thought she was quite wooden in places.
I wonder if part of this is down as well to the casting, because to begin with, I was watching it and I can never remember who actors are in different things, but I kept looking at it going, these all look like other actors. You know, there's somebody who looks like Hugh Grant, there's somebody who looks not Hugh Grant, there's somebody who looks like Hugh Laurie, somebody who looks like someone else. But then when they got to the bit where she met her match, her real match, I just thought, you don't seem very at all.
The couple I really liked was is it Hannah and Matt? I made a note. The married couple,
Hannah and Mark Bailey.
Yeah, the married couple. I thought that was one of the interesting storylines. Which, you know, this is where it comes into the Black Mirror territory, where, you know, the premise is all really interesting, but actually it comes with all these unintended consequences. It's like, you know, Google is the death of pub debate.
Yeah.
You know, because you just look it all up, and actually that couple, there's an similar but not the same sideline story in the book that has an established couple that aren't matched through DNA, and one of them does the matching, but actually then it's the husband who gets matched with another man, and that in the book threw up lots more curious things, right. To kind of like challenge the norm of how we meet people today, and whether there's such a thing as soulmates, and it was just really interesting.
Yeah,
I liked their piece, and they kind of had a bit more chemistry, I felt.
Yeah, their subplot was where everything else was a bit sort of dark and straight. I think Hannah's character she was quite quirky, so she was kind of funny, and they had little funny moments. So they brought some comedy into it, and there was that twist, obviously, which was, you know, she's getting het up, and we know that she's getting het up about something, and we know that she's, you know, doing some kind of DNA test, because we see her putting the envelopes together and sending it off, and then the twist is obviously it's not for her, it's for her husband, and all that sort of stuff. So that was an interesting arc.
And I felt you really felt for those characters. I cared about her, and I felt sorry for her. Yeah. It was like, and you know, that was what I was saying at the TV. Oh, it's not going to end well for you. You know, please don't do that. Deborah, can I ask about what you thought of our detective team?
Now, I thought she was the best thing in it. So I thought Kate Saunders, who's played by Zoe Tapper. She was in Mrs. Selfridge and Liar and Grantchester. So I thought she was the best thing in it. I thought she was the most believable in it. Although, you know, we were repeatedly told that the character she plays, Kate Saunders, is bisexual. You know, there's a continual, okay, we get it, we understand, we know. And she seemed to be doing a lot of social diarising than actual real investigating as a detective. So she seemed to have a lot of time for other things apart from her job. But apart from that, I think her performance was actually very good, and I enjoyed watching her story, and the fact that obviously she's after the woman who is the founder of this company, who has matched her to the love of her life. So that's an interesting kind of sort of dovetailing conundrum.
And there were some nice Columbo moments there, especially I think when she won the award and they were talking in the bathroom, and you know, our evil villain was basically saying, "Oh, how is it going with this person?" or you know, or really having a dig. Yeah. And I thought that was all quite good. Megan, what did you think of the characters? You know, anything we've missed?
Yeah, no data protection, by the way. She seemed to know everybody's, you know.
Must have been before GDPR
I think they missed a trick there, because they could have done a little bit more with that, couldn't they? Because it was about data protection. It was about her. Yeah. She accessed like her home video of her sleeping with her ex-boyfriend and stuff like that. And
Right.
You know, so it was
Yeah.
a big strand that I thought, and we're all aware of it. There's very few organisations that aren't.
Huge.
Exactly.
So, well, it's interesting because I agree. I think Kate was probably Kate was the most upstanding. She was the only one who didn't have some kind of despicable turn at some point. She kept her morals even when she was under temptation with the brother. She stood her ground and was kind of like this, you know. And so yes, I probably liked her the best. Interestingly, in the book, and if anybody is planning to read the book, I'm about to give away a spoiler because it's juicy. In the book, she gets matched to a serial killer, and the whole point of the book is that she is matched to this chap. She feels this absolute innate, you know, connection with him, but works out that he's the serial killer and resolves it.
Why the hell did they not use that storyline? That's amazing.
This is.
I reckon this will be series 2, won't it? Probably.
Well, interestingly, so maybe I've just given everyone a spoiler for series 2. So they clearly have teed it up for series 2, and the book, it so closes down all of, you know, it's a very satisfying end in the book because it closes down all of the loose ends, and you go, well, thank goodness for that. Brilliant. But it would absolutely close the door for any subsequent sequel. So and that was when I kind of like took a step back and thought, this is a real commercial enterprise to move into this TV series, or it feels like it to me, having read the book and then looking at it and then trying to work through. This is the only reason the storyline had so much interesting possibility to it in the actual book. And they're missing a trick, and actually the whole Rebecca Ware story, the Rebecca Webb story. There's no dead flatmate. There's so many different things. So it literally is just this overarching premise that is.
I don't think I wouldn't worry about, you know, giving any spoilers away because, you know, look, there were a few surprises that made it binge worthy, but obviously to give it the kind of the momentum, but you know, actually it gives away so much that you can actually guess what's coming. I mean, I guess that Sophia was going to have an accident, you know. So I guess, you know, why did they say? Can somebody just clear this up, because I think I must have missed something. But you know, when, you know, Sophia and family are meant to be from Spain, but didn't the wife say she's not really from Spain? She's from And yet her dad and her brother were very Spanish. They were all Spanish.
I don't know if she lied about where she come from, but I mean, for me, that whole storyline I couldn't give a toss about. You know, you know, she did that one scene over Zoom, which I didn't really like her very much, and then she was lying in a hospital bed, and then we had to, you know, see the non-story. There was too many kind of strands, and none of them were kind of came together.
The non-story,
You'd rather have a serial killer, wouldn't you? That would have been
I mean,
much
I do
better
think for me there was a real problem with the script as well. The writing I thought was terrible. I thought it was very obvious. Certainly, some of the lines that detectives got, but also some of the scenes were so tiny. You know, there's sometimes were like 30-second scenes, and then it would just move on. It was like, what's the point of that? Sorry, Deborah, I cut you off.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, the throwaways, the stuff that they just threw away really quickly and readily. It's almost like maybe they had too much material, but they had to edit things down to get it into the 43 minutes or whatever. But you're right, it was very throwaway. And the music, the soundtrack that accompanied it, you know, was a bit, some of it was so irritating.
Yeah, I want to move on to the sound now. I mean, just on Netflix were like proud of themselves for actually not having to stick to a time format. I think the OA famously had episodes which are 10, 15 minutes long and some 40 minutes long to match what they needed to do in the episode. I know this was a bit more standard, but who knows? Right, look, I just want to open with the bloody pop music that they were putting here, and I don't know if you heard it, felt it as well, but the levels were so intrusive when those pop music songs came on. It was so loud, and it just ruined everything. It's like, who was doing the sound editing on this? Very disappointed. What are your thoughts?
Do you know what? I have to confess. Here's my thoughts. My confession is, I just very, very rarely hear the music in TV programs.
But you
ever.
shouldn't really.
And I just no, and that's I know that it's there and it helps to sort of like feed the mood and everything. But whenever I speak to people, like people were talking about the music in Bridgerton, and I was like, was it like, you know, Regency turned modern? You know, I was just like, I didn't really pay any attention. So I couldn't have told you anything about the music.
You didn't notice like the pop songs when they came on, how loud and intrusive they were. All right, that must be me. Deborah, what about you?
No.
What did you think about? I think editing and sound was weak, personally.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just exactly what you said. I just found it full on, too much, and silly, and a bit whoa, and we're trying to be so cool, and it's not. It really isn't. You know, it's not. Look, it's not the most demanding of series, but you know, and I found it watchable and unwatchable at the same time. It's just something that you can, if you really don't want to be thinking about anything, and you just want to just sit back and enjoy something, this is a series that will do that. You don't have to think too much. It's not overly demanding, and it keeps your interest.
It got easier. It got easier as it went along for me. It really did.
Well, I mean, the eye candy that was Mateus. I mean, he was the only reason why
I thought he was
tuning
the
in.
best character in it, personally. But also, you talked
He was absolutely gorgeous.
a little bit about costumes. For me, I thought it was really severe, but they did kind of explain that. But it was like, okay, she's Power Woman now. Okay, she's cool. She's poor student now. I mean, it's like, oh, bloody hell. But it did kind of...
Well, it was a way of showing how it spanned between the time, didn't it?
Yeah, and you notice the brand. This was her brand, putting her hair up back and back. So when her hair was down, you know what time she's in. And then and the cutbacks all the way through until you get to the very end, where she's actually doing, right, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. What do I need to do? I'm going to now be this corporate woman. And here I am. I'm now bun lady, and I'm walking in to my...
I mean, who could do that hairstyle themselves on a daily basis?
I know.
That's not feasible.
The only other thing I've got with the problems is that all the characters' lives don't really connect, and then we're just kind of forcing them together sometimes. And also, you're not allowed to take flowers into hospital. I don't know why people continue to do this. It's not allowed these days. Does nobody realise this?
Not in ICU, it's not.
There you go.
I tell you, one of the problems for me that I found really troublesome, and I'm still not sure I completely got my head around it in all places, but the timelines really didn't work for me.
It felt like a year.
They gave the impression that she had the discovery 18 months before, and then grown this massive multi-million matches company in
1 year.
In 1 year, 18 months, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like, well, the 18 months was the 1 millionth match. But I just, you know, if you think about how long it takes, this is a tech company, essentially. It's a tech and science company.
Yeah.
Set that up. You might get some entrepreneurial grassroots, whatever, but it was so major. There's no way it would have grown that big that quickly.
I totally agree with you. I felt, and I've got it written in my notes here, how did they manage to do this in the space of 1 year? I've got it. It's very
So,
fast.
listener, answer on a postcard. What industry do you think Megan and Deborah work for? Yeah. There you go. They know their stuff, these girls. Right. Should we move on to the big five?
The other thing. Sorry. Oh yes. Carry on. I'll pick it up in the big five.
No, go on, Megan.
It'll come up. It'll come up naturally.
The big five. So, performance of the series. I put here Fabio's angry acting. It was very convincing. How about you, Megan?
He was pretty good. Mine would probably be for Hannah, as she was going deranged and paranoid with Megan and the hubby.
Yeah, brilliant.
Mine would be Kate Saunders chopping up the peppers.
Badly. Love it.
I am frying them properly.
Oh, can I just say as well, there was a lot of West Wing walking in this show as well. You know, I think the West Wing invented the speedy walk to show urgency to and from places, and they were doing it all the time, these people, even when they had nowhere to go. All right. Set piece of the series, Megan.
When James gets arrested by the bloke copper and convinced to dob Rebecca in and to go and get the evidence, and as he's retrieving the bloodstained T-shirt, old Rebecca and her henchman pitch up. I genuinely didn't see that coming.
I did, because he was working on his own. You can't arrest somebody on your own. You have to have at least another.
I know,
officer
but
with
I
you when you were
wasn't. I
making
just wasn't. I wasn't tuned in on that. I didn't
have to
see
say
it
that was
coming.
my set piece as well. I did not see that coming at all, and it was like, oh my god, that's really good. Yeah.
Oh well, I knew.
So what was your set piece, Deborah?
I saw it coming. Literally just the wardrobe, ladies.
Okay.
There were ladies in the wardrobe.
Ethan, the completely personalityless, broken-hearted gay man. He was my set piece for the entire thing. He brought so much.
Set in stone.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay, now I've got effect of the series. I couldn't think of anything for that really. I don't really think it applies here. Maybe the DNA bit. Not really. All right. The stupid factor.
The red ants.
So the stupid factor.
Oh, it was all just stupid. It was all just a bit stupid. Look, I'm more than happy to go with the idea of DNA matching. Absolutely, I'm on board with that. I'm not on board with the fact that it's just only one person in the entire planet, or possibly, they alluded to, maybe a very close match with a sibling. But apart from that, no, just the one. She seems to know something. And they happen to be roughly the same age, or they're not a 90-year-old man and an 18-year-old girl, that kind of thing. And just like I said earlier, when she met James Whiting and she said, "I found her. She's a refugee in Somalia." How did you get
brought
her
back for you.
And she's working for it. And we've got her daughter here. We managed to get her through immigration. I'm like, what?
Well, hold on. Let's go with the fact that she was, a refugee in Somalia. She was having all this problem in a war-torn country, and she thought, I'm going to see if I can find my match. I'm just going to take my DNA and put it in here, and off we go. I mean, for me, the suspension.
I'm just going to spit on this.
The stupid factor for me was trying to make a mystery out of a non-mystery. I mean, it was very clear from the start what had happened. So it's like you're unraveling something we already know, and it's not Columbo. It's not that clever. She just threw her in the canal. That was it.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
We're
not going to give away any more. Well, can I just my one on that one though? That really annoyed me, and I was doing my head in, is on the Megan, Hannah, what's his face, triangle, circle, Mark, triangle.
Mark.
The timeline on that one got really upsetting. So her birthday, when it all came out, and then the next day Megan's there going, like within less than 24 hours, they're still talking about it happening the night before, but Megan's then already knocking on the door complaining that she's freezing her out, and all. It just, that whole piece evolved so quickly. It was just like, hold on a second, that just doesn't compute. There's no way that's how human nature works. No. Anyway, that was my little bugbear. On top of all the other things that you.
All right. So finally, the resuscitation factor. So if we were going to bring this back, what would we do to correct it? Now, for me, I really like the idea of.
You'd have to resuscitate.
I really like the idea.
You'd have to bring Mateus back.
There you go.
Reason
well,
why
we could get his DNA and clone him for everybody. I like the idea of changing their lives when they know that they're matched with people. I thought that was an interesting concept, and it could ruin people, really have an effect on everybody's life. Say if everybody's got. Yeah. I watched a film called The New Testament where God's daughter breaks into his office and sends everybody their death date on their phone, so they all know exactly the time and date they're going to die, and it changes everybody's life. So if everybody suddenly got a message on their phone saying who they're matched with, that might be an interesting bit of chaos in society.
You get a little hint of that, and this was one of my frustrations. Was the dude with the placard?
Yeah.
That kept popping up. And
Yeah.
and I was expecting him to be bigger or make more waves or have more of an impact. And it hinted towards the fact
family
that, you
breakdown.
know, being matched can ruin lives, ruin marriages, ruin families, etc.
Yeah.
But it kind of really didn't deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the politician talked about it at the beginning, didn't she, in the first episode, and the campaign, and you know, talking about it on TV, on the news, and that was what was an interesting concept from the first episode. It's like, okay, yeah, I can. And then she said it will be short-lived because if everybody does it, then everybody will then find their perfect partner, and then there will be no more divorces, and there will be no more. But you know.
You're right. Do you know what? Actually,
we can't all wait to be matched to Somalia.
If they've done an episode just focused on each character, that might have really worked. So, you know, linking the whole stories together. So we had an episode of that bald guy and seeing his life and how it kind of impacted into the major storyline going through. That might have really worked. Right. Any final points at all? All right.
I think Matthias was very handsome.
Okay, so
I think that had there been a serial killer, it would have added some cracking flavour.
Gosh, yeah. So, all right. So the last thing I just want to say is series link. So can we link anything of this series to any of the other series that we've reviewed? So far, just one. I couldn't see any links. No actors, no directors, nothing like that, is there? Hopefully that feature will get more interesting. Okay. All right. So let's give it a score. All right. So let's make a start. So these are out of 10.
It raises issues that most people can relate to on some sort of level.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much. So let's score it. So story and plot out of 10. Megan.
6.
Deborah.
4.
And 5 for me. Character and performances. Deborah.
4.
Megan. Oh, sorry, me. 4. Megan.
5.
Okay, style. I give it
5.
4. 4 start for style,
8.
Deborah.
8 for look and style. 8.
And Megan.
I gave it a 6.
Okay. Originality. Megan.
I gave it a 7, but I feel that might be overscoring it based on some of our conversations.
It's your choice. It's your choice.
But I quite like. I thought the concept was quite original.
It's quite an original.
Okay, I've given it a 6.
Well, it's quite an original concept, but loads of other people have done it. Loads of other programs.
Exactly.
So I'm giving it a 3.
All right, and absorption factor, Deborah.
Well, I was absorbed. I did it. I got through it. There wasn't a flatliner, and there was no resus. I managed to get through it, but I'll still give it a 6.
Okay, and I'll give it a 5. And Megan?
I gave it a 5.
All right. So that means that I give it a total of 48%. Megan, what
I'm
did you
a bit
give
more
it?
generous. I'm on a 58.
58. And Deborah?
I'm on 50.
52%, putting it second place on our leaderboard. I think that's a pretty good, correct score, don't you?
Yeah, it's a
I will watch if the next series, if they make another series.
Comme ci, comme ça. No,
Sorry, Deborah, go on.
It's fine. It's like right down the middle, really, isn't it? And I think I will watch the second series, but reluctantly, but I will watch it because I want to see what she's going to do.
Yeah,
with
I think I will as well.
What's she going to do with this couple? Because she had a secret to tell her, didn't she? She says at the very end, "I'm going to let you into a secret," and we don't know if she's going to come clean or come up with something completely.
Well, so she had the option to come clean about the fact that she wasn't matched to Ethan. She has the option to come clean about the fact that you could get matched to more than one person if you have a close sibling relationship. She could come clean about something else, or she could come clean about an absolute lie, because that's her MO.
I mean, I think they were quite clever with the ending, because it wrapped it up enough with that kind of "I've got a secret to tell." If they never made another one to go, okay, that's a good way to kind of end it. However, there's enough strands there to leave the door open for something else. All right, well, thank you very much. That is the one. So next time it's my choice. So I have got 3 clues for you. They're quite easy clues, so I'm sure you're going to guess.
Yeah,
what
I mean,
we're
this
gonna
could
be doing
really
next.
show us up here, James. Because
I don't think so. The clue is so easy.
if I can't prepare
All right, so
for
clue number
this, I
1.
might get it wrong.
If you can guess what we're going to do. Clue number 1. It's set in the 1980s. No ideas? Clue number 2. It's named after a pop song.
Wham.
Stranger Things.
No.
Wham is
Clue number 3. The main actor is a pop star. No ideas? You're going to kick yourselves. It is Russell T Davies's series It's a Sin.
Oh. I thought for some reason I thought it was something brand new that we'd never have heard of or seen. Got you. All right. So we're doing that one next, yeah?
We certainly are.
Great. I've not seen it yet.
Have you not?
No, it's on my list.
All right. Well, yeah. So you can find that on Channel 4, More 4, all that kind of stuff. All right, girls, thank you very much. Ladies, I should say. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. Okay. And you know what? That isn't just one match because you are both the one for me.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, you seem really impressed with that.
Yeah, back.